Good morning. Good morning on Zoom. I just wanted to take a minute and steal Keith's thunder. Just kidding. Kudos though, seriously, on all the classes. I mean, he has been working tirelessly, so I wish I could give you like the day off, but I'm excited to introduce our presenter today, Lauren Wagner. She's been on my team for going on 2 years now.
Yes.
Right at 2 years, yeah. If you don't know, open houses are my jam. I've always said that. You need to know that open houses are a long game. They are not a short game. Open houses will literally build your business. And Lauren has taken that ball, ran with it, mastered with it, and I would say she's better at open houses than I am now. So all of that to say, she's got some great ideas, doing all the things, and you're going to learn a lot. And never roll your eyes at an open house because they're always worth it in one way or another. So without further ado, Miss Lauren Wagner.
Good morning. All right, so I know most of you in the room here, but for those of you that don't know me, I'm Lauren Wagner. I've been with April almost 2 years. I'm a second-year agent, and I have been bit by the real estate bug. Like, I'm obsessed. It's all I think about. It's all I talk about. It's all I want to do all day, every day. But the thing that I love the most is open houses. So part of that is like when April said, initially 2 years ago, I built my business off open houses. I was like, well, there's got to be something to that because I mean, hello, like she's got like a book of business of 4,000 people. So it's got to work one way or the other. So I started doing open houses and I just really kind of like honed in on that. And I decided that I wanted to be really good at just like a couple things. And open houses was one of those things that I wanted to be really good at. So I guess I would say I'm pretty good at them. So I made this little presentation for you guys that maybe I'll figure out how to do. Let's see. Yeah. No, maybe not. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so that's just a little bit about me. Obviously, I just told you that. My first year I had a pretty good year as a first agent, sold almost $7 million in volume. Closed 20 units, so I'd say it was a pretty decent, good first year as an agent. Right now in 2024, I've closed out 3.1 million in volume and I've got 4.5 pending right now. 4 of those leads are from open houses this year alone. 2 of those close this month, and they will close out at $1.5 million in volume from 2 different families that I met at open houses just in January. So I think that the point is like, you can just do them so much, right? But then it's what happens is you meet that one person and you get that confidence and you realize that one person literally just breaks it all down for you. And I'll get into that into like an hourly rate of all the hours that you work in open houses. So just a little bit more why I love open houses. So I always say this, and I think I've told some of you in the room this, I don't have to be like Lauren the mom, Lauren the wife, Lauren the dog owner, Lauren the PTA parent. I get to be Lauren the realtor for 2 hours to 4 hours. It's just me and the open house, and I get to learn about real estate. It's a kind of escape the mundane day to day, and I get to go like hang out in somebody else's house. I love to throw parties. I love throwing my friends like baby showers. I just threw a graduation party this weekend. I had like, I don't know, 75 people at my house, and I loved every second of it. The balloons, the catering, the whole thing. I love it. So now I kind of get to do that in a sense for a short period of time where I just get to be a person that is selling real estate, is a market expert, and that's it. I don't have to be anything else to anybody else. I also like to kind of try different things to see what people like, what they don't like. I mean, I've definitely sat in an open house and had nobody come more often than, not, it happens. But I decided to take that time to like research and start learning, like, what could I do? And even like practicing and then walking the lots and walking new construction if that's where I am. And just taking that time for myself because I don't get a lot of time at home. Like I'm sure a lot of you don't get a lot of time at home if you have kids or a spouse, or you just have other things in your life going on, your business, writing contracts, other clients. And I feel like, open houses have made me money. I've gained clients from them. And I feel like I'm better because I'm doing open houses. So here's just a few examples of how open houses have kind of helped me. So I've had 8 total leads from open houses. I told you guys that 4 of those. So I've been an agent, not even I'm really only 19 months active, truly, when you break it down. So in those 19 months, I've had 8 leads from open houses, 4 of those just from this year alone. So currently from, again, that open house, I have a home listed at 375K. This person has now a partner that wants me to, we'll have that coming soon. So that house is 250K. So that's 2 right there just from open house. And those 2 people now are buying a house with me with Drees out at Weatherford Estates. And that will total out about 850K. So all from an open house. That one person turned into now 2 listings and a huge buy. So again, that's kind of the way that I have started to like look at open houses. So again, now in the month of June, so bring it back to last year, picked up some clients. Now we're closing this month. So we've got about $1.5 million worth of volume that will close, one next week, one at the end of the month. Let's just say you do 4 open houses a month, okay? And you do them 2 hours each. And that totals to what, about 8 hours a month? And then you divide that by the whole year. So you get about 96 hours of open houses that you're doing. Well, if you divide that by the clients that you get from open houses, so I like to track all of that to see where they came from. You're looking at about $15,000 an hour for the 96 hours that you worked in 1 year on the sale of 2 homes, just from those open houses. Yes.
Quick question. You said you have 8 leads from the open houses.
Mhm.
You said that those are converted leads. What about the other people that you met?
So the other people I met, they fall off. Yeah, and we'll talk about that. Like sometimes you don't always convert. Like you're going to meet a lot of people at open houses. I think we all can say that we've met a lot of people and you try to follow up, and then nothing. But the 8 I've been able to convert, I feel like when you look at it overall, those are pretty good odds considering that a lot of times, as we know, people don't even come in for an open house. So that's, I look at those, I still keep in touch with some of those leads. They do get back to me. Some of those leads, they unsubscribe from my text. They don't want, they're like, oh my gosh, get away from me. So I get it. I'm not going to bother them until they want to give me a cease and desist, but it's still like, it helps to build the confidence too. Cause what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to reject you. Okay. How much we get rejected every day. That's like part of this business. So to me, I just look at it like, oh, well, another one bites the dust, but look at the 8 that I converted. Okay. Yes.
Would you say like the 8 that you converted are like ideal clients for you anyway? So you can look at it like.
Not all of them.
Not all.
Not all of them. Some of them I would say were not my niche client that I love to work with, but I also feel like I'll work with anybody, like I think we all have a set standard of who our favorite is, right? But that doesn't always happen. That's the part, like open houses, like you just never know who's walking through the door.
Right.
So yeah, no, but I would say 3 or 4 of them, yes. And I would say that also helps when you're in a neighborhood price point that maybe is above 500. If that's a client that you prefer to work with, I prefer new construction. So I gravitate a lot more towards working new construction open houses, but I also do a lot of resales. And I've met clients in resale settings too for homes that were $345,000. So it just depends. All right. So a couple things that I do before I'm preparing for an open house. I have a checklist. I'm really OCD, like really, it's not healthy, but I work off a checklist, which I'll show you guys an example, and I'm happy to share it with anybody that would like it. I do a lot of marketing. I realize that has really helped me. So I'll give you a couple examples. I love market dwellings. I'm obsessed with this woman. I don't know how she does it. I don't know what she does, but she literally has an Etsy shop and then a separate online platform. So she does a lot of things like this. So a sleeve of these little door hangers costs $5. And I just put my business card right through it. And if I'm doing an open house in a resale neighborhood, I will go up the street a couple days before and put something like this on the doorknob. She just came out with open house door knockers, like, hey, I'm having an open house, and allows you to like be able to make like where the address is. Oh dear.
Got it, I'm handling it.
Okay.
The last time.
Danielle, you want to move? You can move my car if you need to.
Yeah, he's gonna need that move because I
Yeah.
parked there last time.
You gonna need your car moved on?
Yeah, you can move. Where's my keys? I think are in the back. So yeah, these are great. Market dwellings, amazing. She just came out with a whole line of open house stuff that literally allows you to put your business card here, and then on the back, put the address of where you're having the open house. And you can even write like a little note like VIP, neighbors only from 12:30 to 1, come check it out. Pick your own neighbor. There's so many options. And again, a sleeve of them is $5. Market dwellings, it's amazing. So she has, yeah, it's her website actually.
Oh, okay.
So she has an Etsy shop. She's also on Instagram and Facebook. If you tag her in something that you've used, she'll share it to her story. Yeah, so kind of love that. So yeah, I'll invite potential buyers. Let's say that I've got a lead that I'm working with, and I know that they've been looking at, upgrading to a 4-bedroom house because their kids are sharing a bedroom or whatever. I'll text them. I've had so many clients that I've kind of started, like the ball rolling, that will show up to my open houses because they want to see, this is pretty great, especially if I know that they're interested in new construction. Or if I know that maybe they're not interested in new construction and I'm in a resale, I try to get them to come because I like to let them compare their options. This is what you can buy for 400K. Okay, this is what you could buy for 400K new, and just see where they're like, where they fall in that. So I will invite a lot of my current leads to my open houses. I don't really pass out flyers. That's not my favorite thing to do. I'll have a nice flyer like in the house that I usually do laminated real nice. Terry and I have this like shared love for like real nice books that, have just, that are open, that are just glossy and gorgeous. I make all that in Canva. I send it to Staples. It's 4 pages. They laminate it. It costs like $10. And I feel like it just, it helps to just elevate for people to walk in and they're like, wow, this is so nice. So that's just a little something extra.
I'm sorry, Ms. Will you put the book?
So I'll put like specs on the book, or on the house. So like measurement, pretty much everything that's in the MLS. I just put it in Canva and make it look a little cuter.
Can I make a comment? Also remember, who else is coming to these open houses? It's not just buyers, it's neighbors.
Yeah.
So they see how slick and how
Yes.
great your marketing is in these houses. And they may be selling their house, put 2 and 2 together, you want to present yourself to the neighbors just as you want to present yourself.
Yeah, and a lot of times I have picked up a client, like, again, so it's not just people coming into the open house. Part of those 8 leads are people that have been neighbors that have stopped by. And, maybe they've just moved into the neighborhood, it's new construction, and then they're like, oh my gosh, you're a real estate agent and you can work with other people. I've got a friend that's moving down here from up north, and they would love to, an agent, and that starts a conversation. And I've gotten clients that way just from sitting in an open house. And then the last thing I try to do before the open house is just prepare my mindset. So again, like I have to know that maybe somebody is going to come in, maybe they're not, but what am I going to do that's valuable to my time for that set amount of time to maximize maximize me being in the home.
And can I just say, I think that is so valuable because you don't, if you go in with the mindset of I'm gonna be busy regardless, then it never feels like time wasted.
Yeah.
I mean, we can also have been an open house and feel, oh, that was a waste of time. But if you go with the mindset, like I always have a to-do list, and I
Yes.
swear, if you create a to-do list, you'll be so busy at your open house one way or the other.
You will.
Because you think, I'm gonna knock all this stuff off when I get there, and it's like the world happens, it's like, no, you're not.
And that's a lot of times what happens, like you go in with like, okay, I'm gonna do all this work, and then you get busy. And then next thing you know, you've been there for 3 hours and you've got nothing done. So I just like to always prepare my mindset. So yeah, talked about market dwellings. Temu has a lot of really cute stuff like this. Like I got like 50 of these. You can hang them on water bottles. Depending on the price point, you can buy those little cute bottles of like Prosecco at Target. I try to stay away from handing out alcohol. But you know, again, sometimes like if it's a brunch open house and you've talked to the seller, like, you know, sometimes you'll see that agents come through to do showings while you're at an open house. So I also think it's a great kind of just thing. And I've had a lot of agents compliment like, wow, this is so great. So Timu, these are like little candies, like I buy them at TJ Maxx, like you can get a bag of them. They're like Italian candies, but they taste like lemon heads. They're really hanging on a water bottle, or sometimes you get real cute, a glass soda bottle, just something for them to take. I'll put my business card with it. So I just feel like it's less likely to get tossed in the trash than, you know, just your business card. It's just amping it up. A lot of times I'll hand out little bags. Obviously being with April, we have lots of swag. We have koozies, we have cups. I'll put all like stuff in there with my business card. Sometimes like I've done little things like this, which I love. They're little, flower pots, like they're plastic. I got 50 of them on Amazon. This is a seed sticker. So literally all they have to do is pop it in, put some dirt on it and water it, and away it goes. And it's a cute little kitchen knickknack to have by the sink. And it's all herbs too. So like it's basil, it's parsley, it's like, you know, whatever somebody would want to keep maybe by their kitchen sink. And then I put my business card in there. So those are just little things that I do. I have this, I bought these at the dollar store. It was like 2 for $1. So I bought a whole bunch, get some popcorn at Target, and then thanks for popping by. I'm cheesy. So it's like, but you know what? People like cheesy, especially now with like everything that's going on. Like the buyer needs to feel like they're the utmost important thing in the world, because maybe they're going to have to pay commission, or maybe they want to have that conversation. And so they want to feel like they're the hero, they're valued. So giving them, I know it sounds silly, but giving them this makes somebody feel really, really good. I've at least experienced. I bought these at the dollar store. They're flower candles. Like a lot of times, like I'll leave this too for the seller. I will not leave my card because I'm not that like, you know, but just like, and write a thank you note, like, thank you so much for letting me host in your home today. But again, $1, look how cute this is. It's flower. It was cute. It was a big hit during the spring.
Write a note to the seller.
I do.
Can I just make a small suggestion? Write it to the seller and the agent on that note, because I think it's so.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll always like touch back with the agent, you know, like have a separate
Okay, I'll send it
conversation.
out for you and the
Yeah.
seller, and so that that seller.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah.
Well, and for the record, hers are pretty much always on the team, so she,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, no. I'm
No,
just
yeah,
saying
I
that
see what
these
you're
are
saying,
all-
though.
Yeah,
Otherwise.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, because we were talking about calling other agents to do their open houses, so that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like
Yeah.
right here.
Well, and I usually typically will schedule the open house and showing time and leave feedback for the agent and the seller as well. So
Perfect.
I try to like and I always will have a separate conversation, but I do like to just personally leave something to the seller, because here's a stranger that they don't know
That's right.
that's associated with maybe somebody on the team. So it's like, you don't know me, but you trusted that, you know, you trusted Terry, you trusted Justin, Danielle to let me come in your house. So I like to just, hey, thanks so much, you know. All right, so sample checklist, this is kind of like, this is what I got really good in Canva this year, and now it's like another thing I'm obsessed with. So at night, it's kind of like my downtime, like when I've gotten all the things done. And again, I'll send this to you guys if you want it, but it's just, I took a checklist that was already in Canva and just geared it towards my own open house experience. And as like things like come up over the year, like the last 2 years, I'm like, oh, let me write that down too. So all in all, it's about 20 things that I've got that I put on there. So obviously, you know, successful hosting, it takes a lot, you know, so don't get discouraged if you like go and buy all this stuff. And you don't have to spend a lot of money at first. It's just, you know, dollar store stuff. So don't get discouraged. Like you'll get better every time. You'll get better at interacting with people each time that you do it, and get better at getting, you know, gifts as you do it, and you see what people like and how they react to things. Okay, so a couple tips that I feel like I've like learned. Can you guys see this, or should I move? Is this, no? Okay. So arriving early, obviously don't get there 5 minutes before, not helpful. You'll just be frazzled, and like, you'll think, oh, well, nobody's going to come. And I've had this happen where, I mean, it was out of my control. I had a flat tire. But I get there and like, there's like a line already lined up for people. And I'm like, of course, I'm dripping in sweat. Hi, I'm here to host the open house. I look like a hot mess. They're like, who's the homeless person? So, hosting in new construction neighborhoods, I really like to drive around on the area. I've gotten to know Johnston County pretty well at this point, but I only have done that because I drive around. So if I was hosting in Jones Farm when I first started on the team, I would drive within a like 7-mile radius of there and look at all the other new construction. Then I would pull from the MLS any other for sale homes that were in more established neighborhoods, because you'd be surprised how many times people show up and they're like, this is not the home, but they want to know where should they go. So I found that like, being able to tell them, oh, well, actually, Drees is open from 10 to 4 all day Saturday and Sunday. Why don't you guys drive over there? Or Tobacco Road, they've got a great, whole new section coming up. Why don't you go hit that up and see, they're offering incentives too. Because the thing is like, yes, I always want to sell the house I'm in, but we all know that that's not realistic. So showing this person that walks in that I'm valuable, not just to this property, but also to anywhere else that you may or may not want to look, I think has helped me to convert. Learning the lot numbers for new construction. I mean, most of you are pretty seasoned agents, so you all know that that's super important. Especially when you're doing new construction. Obviously, lot numbers are, how everybody knows what's there. I just do a final walkthrough, make sure everything's in place. Create a welcoming atmosphere. I'll show it to you in a minute, but I keep a bag in my car and it's got about anything and everything in there. Like, sometimes there's a Glade plug-in, sometimes there's a candle to light. You just never know. Sometimes the seller doesn't leave anything there or the house is empty. So I think it's important just to create a little bit of a welcoming atmosphere so it's not so stark when people come in. And I would say the most important thing from this is having a lifeline. I've been fortunate enough to be on a team that I have many of those lifelines. But if you don't have that, having somebody that literally, like, if you don't know the answer to something, you have somebody you can shoot a text to really quick. I used to, whenever I did an open house my first year, I would let Holly know, okay, I'm doing an open house here. And she'd be like, okay, I'm available if you need me. So I knew that like, oh crap, they're asking me something I have no idea about the septic layout. What is septic? Like as I'm first starting. And so it was like, I could text her and be like, hey, real quick. So you just have a lifeline to help you give those answers. So you don't look like you just have no idea what you're doing. So that was always helpful for me starting out.
Can we jump on that real fast just to take it down a safety line too?
Yeah.
Because I heard that when you were speaking and just some good tips of the trade is to also make sure somebody knows where you're at. I mean, obviously you advertise an open house. One of the biggest things is always make sure that the back door is unlocked just in case there needs to be a quick escape, things like that. But also make sure you have something set up with someone who knows that you're at this open house and knows that you can text them safety codes, keywords or whatever that you have in case something happens or you feel uncomfortable.
Well, and having Sentry Key is really important for those reasons too. So make sure you have access to that, because that has like your person in there. So if you're not like communicating with Sentry Key, then like my husband gets all these alerts, like, are you safe? Like, is everything okay? So having Sentry Key is also really important to that.
And one thing that I just learned was to kind of add on to what you said, something as simple as I have something set up with my wife about grabbing the red folder off my desk.
Yeah.
Something as simple as that, that's a code word of, hey, you know where I'm at, send the police or send, I'm in trouble.
Grabbing the red folder off my desk.
Yeah.
You did grab that red folder off my.
That's awesome.
Or
Yeah.
something with red folder.
Yeah, or not even just anything.
I forgot to pull the Smith's file.
Yeah.
Can you pull the red folder for it? Something.
Yeah, just anything that's your code, because like I said, if you're in that situation, you don't wanna,
Yeah,
God
no,
forbid
that's-
anybody's in this situation, but that's just a tip that I've learned along the way.
And I've had that happen one time. I had another agent that called me and she said a creepo just walked. I said, okay, you got 5 minutes. And she called me back and she goes, it's all good, because I was about to call the cops. So. it's
Yeah,
gonna be
I
simple.
think we've all probably, Jeff did an open house at one of mine recently and had kind of a strange interaction with that gentleman. So it happens. I mean, it does. So I think we've all been in that situation.
And we're real quick, couple questions, the backing up way back, the Etsy shop, Do
Mhm.
you have a name for that Etsy shop?
Market dwellings.
Market
Mhm,
dwellings.
that's what it's called.
And then the checklist, everybody wants your checklist.
Perfect. I will send it to you and
Okay.
you can send it out.
I will send it out to my email.
Cool. So yeah, obviously there's advantages. So having everything in order and getting there early obviously helps you to like take a deep breath and just be ready for anybody that's gonna walk in. So a couple things that I've learned that's also helped me with lead capture is, obviously personalizing the greetings. I use a sign-in process, so I use either KV Core, which it's free if you guys are using KV Core. There's a KV Core open house app that literally allows you to put in the app, the house and everything. It pulls the MLS and it provides you with a QR code. So I will put my tablet. I invested in that last year. I felt like that was really important. It works off the network. So when they come in to sign in, I have some music playing, the scene is set, and they have a QR code that literally takes them to this landing page and allows them to put in their information. And then it drops it into my KV Core. It's all through KV Core. It's free. I mean, it's anytime you're doing an open house, you just wipe out from the last listing that you had and putting the new one in. It's really simple. Also, Curb Hero is another great app. I've used that a lot. It also is free, but it allows only up to, I think it's 3 or 5, I can't remember how many that you can input before it wants you to pay like a monthly membership. But it's cool to play around with, but guys, if you have KV4, it's right there for you. Free. Information packets, even if you're just printing them from the MLS, doing the client view. So if they want to take it, make sure that your name and information is on that MLS view sheet. So that as they're leaving, you can give it to them and it's there. You've given them a little gift. So now they've seen my name and my phone number how many different times at this point. If they've signed in, that's 1. If I've given them a gift, that's 2. If I give them that packet, that's 3. So I feel like 3 is, it's better than 1. Yeah, so I usually try to print out like 8 to 10 of those when I'm doing an open house. So yeah, so I made a sign-in sheet in Canva, shocking. But I have like our team logo on it. I also have, are they working with an agent? And if they are, and again, I can send you guys this example, but there's another slew of questions that are over here that wouldn't fit in this grid right here. But it has them give me that agent's information, especially if I want to be able to reach out to the listing agent and let them know, hey, so-and-so came by, they're represented with Danielle Richardson from the April Stevens team. They seemed really, really interested, follow up. Why do I do that? Because I want Terry to let me host all of her multi-million-dollar open houses. That's why. Like, I want to get good at what I do so that those agents will allow me to keep on going and hosting in these homes. Because again, some of these high dollar homes have come in up unrepresented, and guess who was there? Me. And now they're my clients. So that's why I feel like that's important to get that information. And I feel like people are more comfortable to give their agents info than they are to give just their information a lot of times if they're working with an agent. So I found that to be helpful. Again, that's what the KV Core app looks like. It's so cool, guys. Like, it really is the like coolest thing ever. And it will pull up like the first picture in the MLS of the house. So you just look like a rock star, and literally this is free and it's what we already have. Curb Hero, that's what it looks like. Pretty cool. Again, if you want to use it, I like it. I've used it. And then Canva, you can make a landing page in Canva with a QR code and it dumps it into a Canva landing page that you can connect to your KV Core website. So that's pretty cool too. Again, KV Core is great because then it dumps it in and I've got the lead and now I've got their info and I can, start the ball rolling there. All right. So obviously first impressions are great. I was doing an open house with April, one of my very first ones, Parade of Homes, very, very high priced home. And April stood kind of towards the dining room. And as people walked in, she said, hey, it's so nice, welcome home. Like, she had a little catchphrase and then she'd say, I can give you all the 10-cent tour, or you guys, feel free to walk around. And I just loved that. So I was like, let me make that my own, because again, 4,000 clients, somebody's bound to have, oh, did you steal that from April? It just would happen in Johnston County. Especially if they see our sign out there, they'll just like pop by and be like, hey, can I just talk to April? I'm like, oh, she's not here. So I found that saying things like that, and then I'll say, it's worth every penny, and that usually gets them laughing, and they're like, okay, like they don't have to feel like this girl is not going to bat, me over the head and want to sell this house to me right now. I'm just here to look. I also feel like pretty quickly you will pick up if they're just nosy neighbors, because they'll tell you right away. Like as soon as you say, hi, welcome home, or oh my gosh, didn't you love the double doors when you came in? Oh, I'm just here looking. I live down the street. They'll say that right away. So then you can kind of be like, kind of go from there with them. Still offer to give the 10-cent tour, because you never know. Maybe they are just nosy neighbors, but now they need a real estate agent because they want to sell their house. So.
Or their mother-in-law wants to.
Exactly. You never know. So, I would say it is vital to get their information. And I know we'll get to that in a minute with like the pushback, but I would say it's so important. And I usually say you'd be doing me a huge favor if I could get your information. The seller or the builder really likes to know who comes through, and it would really help us with the feedback. So you'd be doing me a huge favor. And they're usually like, okay. And I tell them, I promise I won't spam you.
If you're in new construction, just say the builder requires it, and then it takes the pressure off you.
Yeah, no, I've said that too. I mean, and you're not, people, then they're gonna, and if they really don't want to sign in, they'll chicken scratch it so bad, or they'll give you the wrong email address, but at least you've got the documentation. So, obviously to show value, is the whole point of an open house. It's not just to sit there and like greet them. When I'm doing new construction, I like to know every floor plan, what's offered, square footage. So I will kind of look at that the day before or a couple days before. I think the one way I've been able to show a lot of value in open houses is knowing the on-site sales agent. So it's not about just knowing the communities, it's knowing the actual agent that sits in that community. Because I've literally been able to be like, okay, well, if this isn't for you, what you're telling me kind of sounds like it should be Drees, or it sounds like it should be Great Southern. And I'll text the agent literally and be like, hey, so-and-so and so-and-so are on their way. And that has really impressed a lot of my current clients right now, because I have those relationships. And in the winter, I drive around, pass out Girl Scout cookies to their office with my business card on it. So they know who I am and they love it. On-site agents love that because, they're out there too. And I do a lot of agent previews. I would say that's one thing that's helped me too, is like if I'm doing a resale open house, I'll do an agent preview in the neighborhood for the other homes, so I know kind of what I'm up against. I talked a little bit about the go bag that I keep. So this is, again, I'm OCD, so this is it's obsessive, but I find it helpful. So I've got this little vacuum that I keep. Sometimes, you just don't want to make a big fat mess. Trash bags, I keep, this is great, put your signs out and all that jazz. I've got a lint roller. I keep even a buyer packet handy. You never know who you're going to pick up. So I keep my, one of these. I got a clipboard in case they want to walk around, take notes, pens, paper towels, vitamin C. I keep a coloring book in here for little kids that are bored and their parents are actually interested and want to like have a conversation. So that's like, I've got bug spray in there, Advil, Tylenol, you name it, flashlight, it's in there, a whole punch.
Toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper, gotta have that. Tampons, like, you never know. That's really a way to win a client. No, I'm just kidding. So obviously digging deeper, you want to get to know them after they come in. So some good conversation starters I found, okay, what's your realtor's name? If they don't have a realtor, like that really is your in to start that conversation. Are you guys excited about, maybe the possibility of finding a new home? Have you guys been in your home for long? That always is like, oh yeah, I feel like it just starts the conversation to really start the conversion process. Are you looking to upgrade, downsize, what brings you in today? So obviously actively listening, and understanding their needs, repeating it back to them so that when they do leave, I can go back and make my notes and know how to reach out to them from there. So obviously understanding their needs and market knowledge, they're one and the same. It's how you show your value. They come in and they tell you what they need and you repeat it back to them and and then something hits the market and you're like, hey, it was so great meeting you guys the other day. I was just thinking about you and I wanted y'all to look at this. I have also converted a client that way. Because they were like, you know what, that is exactly what we're looking for. They were renting, they broke their lease. Now they're in their, first home. So it does work, it's not every time, but it's like, hey, again, the law of averages is pretty good when you break it down the numbers. So that's the way I choose to look at it. Let's see. So maintaining obviously a high level of professionalism, I have found, especially in new construction or like a resale that maybe is not pristine. People will say something. People do not care. They'll say anything and everything. So just you maintaining that level of professionalism, like, yeah, okay, maybe like, all right, let's take Adam's homes, not bashing them, right? But they're not semi-custom. So they're going to be a spec home. And for a lot of people, that's great. But somebody may come in and may have expected that it's going to be, I can pick my own finishes, right? Well, actually, this builder doesn't do that. But what they are known for is the specs that they do pick are beautiful and they have great open floor plan concepts. Let me show you, and kind of deters them away from the negative. I found like it can be that easy to just undo. Let's see. So obviously frequently asked questions. I don't know. Do you guys get a lot of pushback on why do I have to sign in? How are the school systems? Like any of those things come up? I feel like a lot of people are like, well, I have a home to sell. Will the seller work with me? Or I haven't really started looking because, I don't know about contingencies in this market. When was the last time the home was updated? A lot of people will ask that. Will the seller take less? I've had people ask me that in an open house. I need to move as soon as possible. Do you know what the seller is like, what their timeline is looking like? So I feel like those are the most frequent questions I get. I don't know about y'all, but I just, again, I like to respond with empathy to people. If it's about school systems, I like to tell them I'm a parent too. And obviously that's super important to me. That connects right away. If they're not a parent, but they're an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent, again, you're trying to like dig a little bit deeper to find that connection with them, to let them know why it's so important for good school systems and what your belief system is. When it comes to, great school systems are so important.
Lauren.
Why do you need to sign in? What?
I'm on Zoom. I'm sorry.
God, is that you?
Sorry. I was just wondering, what do you do about people like I get a lot of pushback with signing in, but I also find that I have a lot of people who will say they have an agent, but you can tell they don't.
Right. That's why I asked them what's their agent's name.
Oh, okay.
Because then if they really don't have an agent, Bob Smith, no, they're not going to do that. I caught people in that. They're like, oh, well, actually, just somebody that we had one conversation with. So that's one way that I get them to really know if they're working with an agent or not. If they're working with an agent that they're loyal to, like so many of our clients are loyal to us, they're going to say your name, And then the signing in, again, it's like, April said, it's a safety issue. The builder requires it. You'd really be helping me out with the seller for feedback purposes. If you would just sign in. Listen, if you're really like, your comfort level is my concern. So if you're really that concerned about signing in, just sign your name and jot down your email address. And I promise I won't spam you or something like that. Usually helps them to just take the pen or just, scan the QR code.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anytime you give somebody something, they feel obligated to give you something
Yeah.
back in return.
Yeah, you give them something, they're like, oh my gosh, it's popcorn, It's a flower candle that was $1, but people love that. So sellers with contingencies, I just usually talk about, I kind of bring myself into it, I'm really great at maneuvering through these situations, and we can definitely sit down further and talk about your situation. I feel like that's been helpful with writing an offer for less than asking. Hey, I'm really great at navigating this market and putting something on paper that a seller's going to feel comfortable with and that is going to be comfortable for your budget. And I find that people usually are like, oh, okay, that works for me, even though we all know, like, okay, buddy, you want to ask 100K less? Yeah, it's not going to happen. But, we're going to be realistic, and I'm going to have them understand that, like, I'm the expert. I got you. I'll drive this ship. You'll be the hero. Everything's going to be fine. A couple other ones. When's the last time the home was updated? I get that a lot. Again, I usually like to get with the listing agent on a resale to know exactly what we've done to the home in the last like 5 years and what hasn't been done. And then I also find it's a good way if they haven't signed in, hey, what's your phone number? Reply back to me with your email address and I'll send you a whole list of what's been done in the home. I find, oh yeah, because now they've asked a question that they want the answer to. So post follow-up, I do like to send a thank you email. Again, it's in Canva. It's a template. I use it. Thank you so much. The only thing I do is change the address and send it to their email address for coming to the open house. A lot of times while they're there, I'll send them my Home Spotter app. They'll say, oh, well, we're just out open house, hopping today. Well, cool. Do you have this app? Nobody has it because everybody's on Zillow. Right? But guess what? It's my app. It's connected to my MLS. And now I can see everything that they're doing. And now I've just gotten their phone number. What's your phone number? I'll send it to you really quick. It will like, you can literally put a filter in there for open houses and I'll spend 2 minutes showing them. And then they're like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Converted clients that way as well.
Well, the other good thing about Home Spotter too, not to interrupt, but.
No, you're fine.
A lot of people come in off your side and then they come in the house and they all of a sudden they're like.
You're like,
"Oh,
wait,
this-
you're not
this-
Terry.
Well,
You're
no,
not
but
April.
They're like, wow, this is a little high price.
Right.
They're thinking they're looking for a $400,000 house and you're sitting at a 600. I'm like, well, great. This app will show you if you're driving by a neighborhood.
Yeah.
You can actually pull it up and see what the house prices are.
Right.
And they love that.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a lot. I always try to throw in there too. It's a lot easier to navigate than Zillow,
It is.
I feel. So,
Right.
yeah, what not to do, don't be unprepared. Don't wait too long to follow up. I follow up the next day. Again, not everybody's gonna love it. People are just gonna come, they're gonna take your gift. You're gonna be like, just spent $1.50 on that person and they never got back to me, but that's okay. Just make sure that you're following up. Lack of personalization. I feel like I get a feel for each person that walks in the door and find something to connect with them on, whatever it is. What kind of baseball hat are they wearing? Like, what sports team is it? Let me try to pull from there. I try to connect with every person that walks in. Do they have young kids? Oh my gosh, how old are they? About 4 or 5. I remember those days. Just trying to connect with every single person. We talked about Century Key. Everybody have Century Key. It's really important. And I think the biggest thing is like, just don't get discouraged. Again, it's a long game. It's going to take you a lot of like rejection to get the couple that actually ends up being like the victory. But I'm telling you, like all of the rejection compared to the victory and looking at, oh my gosh, I'm going to close out just $1.5 million in volume just from one person that came through, that turned into this and that and the rest. That's a good feeling. So that for me has really helped me to see how the longevity of open houses can work. So yeah, there's just some big takeaways. I think we've talked about everything. Your business deserves you to be really good at doing open houses. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Just to add, y'all, there's no other place in our real estate space where business is just gonna walk in.
Oh,
I
At
mean,
all.
it's the truth. And like I said, I've had people walk in and they're like, oh, the realtor's here. And I'm like, what did I do to you? An open house guy, so clearly you expected someone to be here. So some people have this attitude and I feel like, Lauren with her gifts, with her attitude, having the right mindset, she makes people want to be there. And if you have the right attitude, then people are gonna feel that. And we've all been in those open houses where the agent's sitting there reading a book and they're like, let me know if you got any questions. Thanks, especially in new construction. And it's like, you don't have me excited about this house. Why, or you're not excited about this house. Why should I be? So I think a lot of it has to do, especially, like I said, with what she's doing. She's getting to know the neighbors. And if y'all heard me tell the story before, like I said, my daughter thought we lived in Brahma West because I did so many open houses out there. All the neighbors knew me and we were out there every weekend putting out flyers and this, that, and the other. And I mean, to this day, it's one of those neighborhoods that I constantly do business in because of the relationships I built 18 years ago.
Awesome.
Lauren, can you share your presentation with us?
Sure.
No, I think I listened.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna send it to me. Y'all are on the email list. If you're not on the email list, let me know.
Two that I have.
I love it. Thank you.
And then next week, one of my favorite presenters here at the Real School, Caitlin Jackson, will be back. Cosplay Caitlin. She will be in some type of outfit as she always is. She's gonna be doing some more Canva. We've talked about Canva today. Lauren will be here, I'm sure, for that. So we'll see you then. And then the week after that, April will be here for EXP Explained.
I'm
So
gonna explain that.
yes, explain it.
So it's not just if you've never heard of EXP, it's actually if you're already with EXP. I mean, it's great to bring other people too if they have questions
Yeah.
or you have people interested. But what I come across all day long, we just had to come up on my team. Somebody was like, what do I do with the stock I got? And then somebody's like, where did you get stock? How do you know where to find it? What about, and I just want you guys to know all of the resources that you have.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I feel like every day I'm talking to somebody like, I didn't know we did that. I didn't know we had that.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw this morning, Glenn Sanford just posted that now if something happens to you, like I thought this was really special because I have had this happen. But if you were to pass suddenly, they're automatically gonna vest your shares to your estate, to your family. You don't have to, if those shares are not vested for 3 years, they're no longer making you wait 3 years. And I was like, what a cool thing. As
Yeah.
somebody who just had to close out the estate for family member, it's really hard to hang on to these things that wait a year before you can ever.
It just drags out.
It just
Yeah.
drags out and it keeps reopening these things. And so, I mean, it just hit me in my gut this morning when I saw that first thing. I was like, way to go, Glenn. That is just an awesome thing to do so that the families aren't having to wait. If it's a little bit of money or a large amount of money, it doesn't matter. They're not having to wait for those shares to vest. They automatically have a link set up where the family get in touch and the heirs get their share.
Yeah, so it's gonna be kind of a split class of maybe introducing agents that may be interested in the XP, but also like April said, kind of giving you all the stuff that comes with being with EXP that you may not know, the perks,
And we're gonna start doing these
systems,
early
stuff like that, yeah.
because there's new things coming out, you know, like the Rev Share 2.0. I've already had a lot of questions about that. So just so you know, anybody that's not here, it's great to bring new agents, but it's also great to bring the agents that are with us who just may not know all of the value.
Yep,
that we
yep.
have.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you all. Y'all have a great week.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Lauren, that's great.
Yeah.
You guys, you have mine, right? Do you have my email address?
Kate, you have mine?
I will grab a
It's in,
sheet,
um,
and if I don't,